What film are we talking about today?
We're talking the scariest movie.
One of the scariest films, right?
Voted based on several studies.
which I'm sure are very scientific.
Look, Forbes magazine, they're basically science.
Forbes is half AI.
Yeah, now it is. Yeah. The movie Sinister, incredible film. But Forbes did a test with 35 movies, and they put a bunch of people in the cinemas and they monitored their heart rate.
Yes.
And everybody rated Sinister as number one scariest film because on average their
based on heart rate,
was almost at 90, and then it kept spiking at 131 beats per minute.
Why? No.
Yeah.
It's a terrifying movie. What were the other movies though? What was what came in second?
Oh, I don't know. I think it might be like Insidious or something stupid.
So that's okay. Insidious and Sinister are always kind of like paired in my mind because I believe they came out like at the same time, right? They came out the same year.
I'd say so.
And
yeah.
The Conjuring. We're in this weird Sinister came out around this like interesting like golden age of horror films, which I think we're actually kind of still in. Like horror since. I don't know, like, there wasn't, I'm just saying this off the top of my head, but there wasn't like a ton of great horror films pre-2010. I'm sure there were some, but there was a lot of like schlocky ones that were kind of like, they're good, but like not great. And then horror became a little more prestigious with like Blumhouse. Speaking of, this is a Blumhouse film, so it's Conjuring, I'm pretty sure. And Insidious, despite being such a huge piece of shit in the second half, like that was also like you're like, oh, this is like such a fucking Patrick Wilson can like do anything, and we're still kind of in that zone, I think. But Sinister, I remember the trailer for this movie just was fucking terrifying. And the thing about this film is that like I believe the heart rate science part of it because this film doesn't stop scaring you. Like
it has so much tension,
and there's so little like release at any time. Yeah.
And the only disservice that this movie has received is by having like a jump scare that's a little too goofy. With like a child,
end, right?
With like bad makeup on a baby that you're like, oh no.
I was on the People's website Reddit, and I was kind of like being like, it was surprisingly hard to find. I like to look at it, it's fun, especially when you do an older film, and it's weird to say this is an older film. It feels like it came out like yesterday, but like it's fun to read like 10-year retrospectives or whatever about this. But this movie was like, at the time it came out, it was a huge deal. Yeah. Because everyone was like, that movie,
the scariest movie,
scared the absolute balls out of my asshole.
Yeah.
And like, and everyone knew the trailer, even if people weren't into horror. There was like, that trailer is so fucking terrifying. And I was on the People's website trying to be like, what do people really think of this movie? And they kind of think of what I think of it. But like the stuff with like the kids, that was like the most controversial part. Quality wise, like people do not like that part. I actually kind of like that part. I think it's all right
with like the makeup on the kids, and
like
then
when
them
the kids are following him around the house.
Oh, I hated that.
Oh, I don't mind it. I think it's kind of interesting.
It just it brought a little bit of levity to it, and then I just couldn't.
But not in a good way.
Yeah, totally. Like it took away the tension, and I was like, oh, I feel fine again.
The jump scare where the girl comes over his shoulder though is pretty freaky though.
That's what I'm saying. Like one's good enough, and then they have like a whimsical ghost child that like hops around on the couch and chases him through the house.
I weirdly like. I don't mind that stuff at all. I thought it was like
baby ghosts. You're like chill
but
with
that's
it.
like I'm into whimsy baby ghost child. Yeah, I know. Seriously, I seriously don't. I thought I was surprised to read people being like, oh, I hated that part, and like people just kind of saying like I kind of like I feel about Insidious. Like I hated the second half of the movie. Like it falls apart in the second half. And I kind of agree, but it doesn't make me not like it. But I will say that the final jump scare, which was not a choice of Scott Derrickson, the director.
It's Mr. Blum himself.
Mr. Jason Blum, one of the most successful executives in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Frankly, one of the most brilliant executives in Hollywood. Made that decision as well.
Fuck yeah. Because he wanted like a memorable final jump scare.
And it is. Like,
it is. It fucking got me.
It's scary. Yeah.
It got me.
Okay. Here's an interesting question. What is the scariest moment of this film to you?
Oh, man. The fucking attic, dude.
Which part?
Oh, okay. Every time
part
he
with
has
the scorpion, part with the snake.
There's two parts that are terrifying. And it's one of them is imprinted in my brain, and I told you about it while we were watching it. The anticipation leading up to that scene was like so visceral. When he finally is watching these snuff films of children and da-da-da, he has like printed out images of Bughuul, the boogeyman.
I know the moment you're talking about, and I'm going to correct you.
Yeah. He
has taken the Super 8mm and he's put it onto his computer. Onto his computer.
Yeah.
So it's on the screen.
Yeah.
His laptop.
Of his laptop. Yeah. So it's like, oh right, he hasn't printed it out physically, but like he's looking at an image
on his laptop.
Of the
he's paused a video on his laptop
of the boogeyman.
Yeah.
And then he's like distracted, looking at his phone or something else, and that paused image, quote unquote, turns to look at him.
Yeah.
And then looks away.
Incredibly creative.
Holy
moment.
shit!
Like I think my general thesis of this movie is like I like this movie a lot, but it's kind of like the parts are greater than the whole. Like the movie doesn't have a ton of like overall an overarching very interesting story or theme.
Yeah.
But the little beats and moments are so fucking good.
Yeah.
That you're like, yeah, that kind of makes up for the fact that like Juliet Rylance is kind of overqualified for this movie. Like the kids are not great.
Yeah.
Like the Ethan Hawke and Juliet Rylance's children are not. They're like okay, but you don't really know much about them. Especially considering the crux of it is that the little girl is the one who gets kidnapped by Bughuul or sucked into the Bughuul's realm or whatever.
Yeah.
And like Ethan Hawke, he has very little character as well. Like you kind of have to imprint upon him that you're like, oh, he's Stephen King or whatever. Like yeah.
Totally. And one of the other scary scenes is when their son emerges out of a cardboard box.
Yeah.
Upside down like a crab spider.
Yeah. It's pretty fucking freaky.
That.
Yeah.
I have always maintained that the scariest part of movie is the child.
Children. The part where he's in the bushes.
Yeah.
That is terrifying too.
Oh,
yeah.
That's right. And you flash, like the flashlight goes on his face and he looks like Bughuul for a second.
Exactly. It's great. My hands down the scariest part of this film to me is it's a toss up between the lawnmower scene, which is just, it's so jarring and freaky. Like it first of all, it's probably I would guess who at Forbes, the half AI magazine who did the study, I would guess that is maybe the part where people spike the highest. Yeah. It is so unexpected. Like you expect something scary to happen.
Yeah.
But there's something interesting if I'm remembering correctly, like a lot of moments in horror movies are broadcast by the fact that the score and the sound lowers away just before there's a jump scare. So you kind of know it's coming.
Yeah.
And I believe in that part with the lawnmower, it's just the weird freaky score happening, and then it spikes really fast out of nowhere, and you're just as they run over the person with the lawnmower, and you're just like, it's so terrifying. It's such a fucking scary. And then the part
effective.
The part where he holds the picture up to the window and then he lowers it and Bughuul is in the bush.
Yeah.
That is like, that's just genuinely like great horror movie filmmaking essentially. Yeah.
You know me, I'm not a big water-bound person.
No.
So
totally dry.
I stay dry.
Yeah.
The driest girl you know.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Ew. So gross.
That's the second scary part of the film. How dry I remain through the entirety of this movie.
Sandy.
Jesus Christ. The scary part is when the entire family is like tied up into the pool chair, and then they get sucked into it head first.
They get like pulled from off
by
camera.
like a rope.
Yeah.
Jesus,
yeah.
I was reading about like the filming of these snuff parts.
Yeah.
And
dangerous.
Holy shit! So the pool party one.
Yeah.
The Robert Cargill, the guy, he's like, it was extremely difficult to film. Obviously.
Oh, yeah. They filmed it all on Super 8mm.
That's right.
Which was added to the difficulty. Yes.
So that's like the ugliest thing. It's grainy and like scary and it's just perfect for this. And so the stunt like actors and actresses who they got to be the bodies and play that doomed family that's tied down, they had to be super sure that it's only a few takes because of course, right? And then the guy they got to play Bughuul, they had like weights.
Who was a stuntman.
Who's a stuntman. They had like weights tied around him and he was submerged into the water.
Yes.
I thought it was just like an image they like distorted. That guy's standing underwater looking at them.
Yeah, he had to be underwater each take for like 10 seconds.
Holy shit.
And he had to stand like perfectly still. The people also were on the chairs were stunt people too.
Yeah.
And they had to like pull them into the pool and make sure they didn't drown.
Oh my God.
It's like, it's so crazy because like because it was filmed on 8mm and filmed like in the dark, they had to make sure that everything was like basically perfect because they only had a few takes that they could do because they didn't want to do too many because it was like fairly dangerous. Yeah.
Well, one of the biggest risks was that family that hangs by the tree.
Yes. I read about that too.
Holy fuck.
Yeah.
So another group of stuntmen.
Yeah.
The stunt coordinator botched the preparation of the scene and one of the guys got really tangled up in the neck. Thankfully, not fatally. Like obviously, he lived.
He actually did not get injured at all. Yeah.
But can you like how?
It's crazy.
It'd be so easy to snap a neck.
Yeah.
Anyway, that guy got fired.
That guy got fired right away. Apparently, yeah, I read that as well.
Sorry, pal.
I dove into some IMDb trivia, but yeah, it's crazy. Like
shit.
Besides like the tension and like the sheer terror of this film, I do think like one of the coolest accomplishments are those films. Like they are so
practical effects, baby.
Yeah, and they're so well made and like so interestingly shot. I don't know. They look like just interesting snuff films in this like weird way. And I'm a big fan of snuff films. I've got a huge
interesting
collection.
meter just goes from 0 to snuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is full snuff.
If there's not enough like actual true death on screen, I'm not sure if I really want to watch the movie, you know?
What's like an IRL? No, I guess police doesn't allow snuff films to be in the news and ship.
There's the Kennedy assassination.
Well, like Kennedy's,
is
from like Mad Men. I think that's the one that stands out to me most. Is
like the what's it? The Zapruder film is like considered like a snuff film. The one in JFK.
Oh yeah.
Back and to the left, yeah.
Right, and then people falling to their death from like 9/11.
Yep, that's another one. There was a guy who a politician, I think in Pennsülvania, who shot himself on TV. Also the film Christine, which stars Rebecca Hall, which is a true story about a newscaster in Florida, I think. It's a really good, like she's so good in it, but it's a really like bleak movie, and she shot herself on live television.
Oh my God.
And that was like, that movie is so freaky because like, the premise,
you know what's going to come.
The premise of the film is, it kind of tells you, it's like, this is a story about a woman who shot herself on live TV.
Yeah.
So the whole movie, you're just kind of like, oh yeah, I know what's going to happen later.
Yeah.
And it's it was such a sad story. And I liked that movie a lot, but it's like not like a fun film to watch. But those are like real life snuff films. The idea of like snuff films was like totally over exaggerated. They never really existed the way that the legend had it. Kind of like it was kind of like a satanic panic style
Yeah, like
thing.
a Manson thing or
where like people, there was also like, there was a movie called Snuff that came out in the 70s that was like, I believe made to be like pretend it was a snuff film. And then also like Cannibal Holocaust before that was people there. They spread a rumor on purpose, I believe, that real people had been killed during it, which added to its notoriety.
Yeah.
But the idea of like the snuff film itself, Red Rooms is about that.
Right.
Is like these like snuff films that you can watch on the internet. I don't think they really exist the way that people think they do, but there is a lot of like real life deaths depicted on video.
You mean like snuff films that exist in the dark web? You think they're not?
Yeah, like I mean like the Red Room style of like the staged snuff film.
Yeah.
Whereas like there is a lot of actual death caught on camera.
Oh, for sure.
9/11 being one, the Zapruder film, but also like you hear like there are videos of crazy shit from cartels and stuff like that.
Oh, totally.
But those are like byproducts of like a conflict or something like that, or a crime. Whereas like what is it? Like the snuff film of popular imagination never really existed the way you think.
Yeah.
The way it was rumored to. The Black Dahlia is really concerned with that. If you've ever watched that kind of piece of shit movie, but like,
oh jeez.
Yeah. The Black Dahlia, we should cover it on the pod, but it's like, it's concerned with like the classical idea of a snuff film. And that movie is like such a misfire because the book, The Black Dahlia, is really good.
Oh.
But Brian De Palma made it and David Fincher was going to make it. And then it just turns out to not be a good movie, but you're like, man, I really see a good movie in here and it just doesn't exist. But apparently there's a totally lost to time director's cut of it, which people are like, it is better. It's not great, but it's better. But anyway, whatever. But the snuff films in this movie, Sinister, are like the most interesting accomplishment, I think, of the film. Without them, this movie just is kind of a haunted house film. Yeah.
Totally. But you're also waiting to see what happens to Ethan Hawke's character, and you kind of hope that everything will go okay. Yeah. Because it seems like he will get away with it.
A little.
And by the way, they don't show a lot of like horrifying things happening to him specifically.
Yeah.
You think he's gonna, maybe one of the kids gets, or the wife dies at the worst. But
well, the kid does, murder everyone at the end.
Yeah, but you don't think that that's going to happen.
No, and that doesn't totally become clear. Yeah. Although like, I don't remember how I felt the first time I saw this movie because I saw it like a long time ago for the first time. But like the idea of like when you're like, oh, like one child is missing from all these, you're kind of like, yeah, and they have 2 kids. Like, I think I kind of know where this is going. Maybe. Yeah. But like the how they get there is kind of more interesting. Mm-hmm. And like the how they get there is like, one thing I do like about this movie is that there's never any real attempt to be like, oh, you've been sucked into Mr. Boogie's realm, and so this is how you escape it. And it's like, no, you're just fucked.
No, it's
like
done.
You're just fucked completely.
It's so final.
Yeah.
That's why it sucks. That's why it's the scariest movie of all time. It's so crazy because it doesn't have. This movie was almost rated PG-13, or it wanted to be.
It has no violence or sex or nudity.
Or not enough blood.
It's not even blood. Yeah. But it's rated R.
And it's still. Would thank God, right? Can you imagine?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if you saw, but they wanted the boogeyman, the Mr. Bughuul, to look like Johnny Depp and Willy Wonka at first.
Yeah.
Man.
I can see that.
Then they would have got a PG-13.
Yeah.
Then that'd be goofy as hell.
Well, that Willy Wonka movie is a horror film.
That should be that should be rated R.
Yeah.
But yeah, of course, that like already there are a couple of things that take away from the seriousness of this film. But if you take away the horrifying fucking Google image they sourced off for Boogie's face.
That was really interesting.
My God.
Yeah.
Which already I'm like, oh, interesting how that image just came upon you, sir. And then it was like, here, take this visage and make a fool.
They paid $500 for the rights to it.
For that image?
Artist, yeah.
Dude.
Yeah. I don't know what the original like image looked like, but it was like he was just like Googling creepy people or some shit, and he found this artist's work and was like, I'll pay $500 for it. Yeah. Ugh. I mean, it's creepy. Creepy as fuck. You never even
coincidence? I think not.
Yeah. You never even get like a clear look at him very much, which is kind of cool too. Yeah.
Good. Fuck. Jesus.
No, I want to look him dead in the eye and be like, hey, why did you take those children?
He's directly behind you
I wish he would meet that fucking Jesus from what's that movie about the abducting that Christian movie from last year?
Monty Python?
Yeah. The Monty Python and the Holy Grail. No, the one that like made a bunch of fucking Sound of Freedom.
Oh.
The one with the dude who played the Passion of the Christ, who played Jesus, Jim Caviezel.
I have absolutely no memory.
You don't know it. Well, we never saw it because it was terrible.
I have like no idea what's going on.
It was that movie that was like So Jim Caviezel is like a huge conspiratorial nut. He's like basically half QAnon.
Oh, okay.
And he was in this movie about kids who were like abducted into child slavery and stuff. And he frees them and stuff like that. And like the movie was half crowdfunded by these people.
Oh, God.
And then it made a shit ton of money because like people would like buy out entire theaters, and even though they weren't going, just to get the word out about this. And it was like big in the QAnon community too, because that's pretty much what it's about.
Classic.
And Jim Caviezel is crazy, but yeah, I think Mr. Boogie and Jim Caviezel need to meet.
That's a big marketing.
It's the end of that joke
right there.
That's the whole. Well, that was a long road to get to a not very funny thing to say.
I'm rating you R.
We're done.
Okay.
Yeah, that was rated R for quality, as in bad. Yeah, as in not
wrong.
Good. Wrong quality. Yeah. Yep. Sorry, everyone. Anyway.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So, but like speaking of some goofy choices. Maybe not goofy, but it was cute. Like Ethan Hawke's character is named Ellison
Oswald, yeah.
After Patton Oswalt?
And Ralph Ellison.
How cute.
Yeah.
What a huge nerd.
Hey, so I asked you a trivia question. Do you want to know the answer now?
Yeah, you asked me what his sweatshirt means.
His shirt that he wears.
Oh, yeah.
His
it's like
t-shirt.
A university name on it, right? What
Bennington
does it say?
College.
Bennington
and I
College?
asked you, do you know what's the significance of Bennington College?
I think I saw it now, but go ahead. Tell the people.
Did you... I think I saw the same IMDb, but did you see the thing about Shirley Jackson?
Yes.
Okay. I have an even better one for you.
Tell me the Shirley Jackson one. So
I don't know whether I don't care about that one.
Okay, yeah. Well, the Shirley Jackson one is really that she also went to the same or her husband went to that college.
Wife?
Yeah, Shirley Jackson's husband. What? Is Shirley Jackson a man's name?
No.
Okay.
Shirley Jackson might be, but two women could also love each other.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought I saw it was wife. Yeah.
Yeah. Went to that college and then
let's put it this way. Look,
Shirley Jackson did Haunting on Hill House.
Shirley Jackson's dog, just her dog, she went to Bennington College. And like I gotta be frank, I read The Haunting of Hill House and it's okay. That's all right.
I saw Willy Wonka twice. Yeah. It scared me.
I would rather watch Willy Wonka than read Haunting of Hill House again.
No.
Surely.
Fuck Shirley. Sorry, no disrespect, but tell me about your cooler fact.
Well, Bennington College is also where Jonathan Latham, the author, and Donna Tartt, the authoress, and Bret Easton Ellis all went to college together there.
Oh, shit.
Yes. And so it's kind of like got this writerly edge to it because it was like this liberal arts college. And most importantly to my life as a white man is...
More importantly.
Because I don't care about Shirley Jackson and her stupid pets. Bret Easton Ellis wrote The Rules of Attraction, which is one of my favorite books, based on Bennington College.
Oh, that's the college.
And Donna Tartt wrote The Secret History, another great book. Not one of my favorites, but a great book. Also based on Bennington College.
Oh my God, they're obsessed.
I know, they're like, they could not move on.
They're like those Harvard kids that just wait to drop
Donna
the
Tartt
H-bomb.
has been an author for like 40 years and she's written 3 fucking books and she's like, yeah, but my college book was the best. It's like, get over yourself.
You're up, Donna.
You're a 50-year-old woman. God,
that's your real
get
name.
a haircut.
Talk to your dog every now and then.
Maybe you should type faster, okay?
Yeah. Yeah,
we're all waiting for Donna Tartt's Winds of Winter, and she just won't fucking give it to us. She's busy writing The Goldfinch 2 or some shit. It's fucking... And Bret Easton Ellis is just fucking around.
Yeah, he's done enough.
Okay? He wrote a book like 2 years ago.
Oh.
Which I would like to read. I heard it's actually pretty good.
Sinister 2.
Yeah. No.
Bret Easton
he
Ellis.
wrote a sequel to like his first book that I read that was not very good, but yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, anyway, so that was the significance. Is like the writer connection is like, oh yeah, it's like a writer reference. Just like the Patton Oswalt and Ralph Ellison nonsense, which is like, who the fuck is named Ellison Oswalt? No one. No one on earth. That's
I know,
insane.
it's the most pretentious writer name. But it's also typically the name of a guy who's like, why? I hate my wife and my 2 shitty children. I can't wait to move into a murder house and live with them in it.
Oh, can we talk about his wife?
Yeah, dude.
And by that, I mean Juliet Rylance, the actress.
She should not be in this movie. She's so much better than this movie.
Is it possible to ever watch, like, maybe I'm just speaking from a man's perspective, but just to watch, like, anything with Juliet Rylance and just be like, yeah,
girl,
I could settle down with her.
Yeah. What else is she in?
The Nick. She's incredible in The Nick.
Oh, fuck, right.
She's like, she's not, this is the thing I wanted to get at. She's in The Nick. She's amazing in it. She's in this movie. She's in the Perry Mason TV show, which was canceled, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. She's such a good actress, and she does not have a huge career.
No.
And she's fucking Mark Rylance's niece or some shit. So why the fuck...
Oh my God.
Like, why isn't she a bigger actress? She's so good, and she's completely wasted in this movie. Like, it does not need to be Julia Rylance.
No,
like,
I don't even remember. Like, she's credited for The Conjuring and Frances Ha, but I have no memory of her in it.
What?
Or like under Google's like movies and shows, and then under Juliet Rylance.
Really?
Yeah. American Gothic. Fuck, like shit. I don't even know, man. Animal.
Oh, I love that movie, Animal. It's about Shirley
Animal
Jackson's dog. It's about Shirley Jackson's dog going to college. Then she's going to write a book about it and not get over it.
No, that's a different movie, which she was also in, called A Dog's Purpose.
Shirley Jackson was probably big into Dog's Purpose.
Juliet Rylance's best work in A Dog's Purpose, man. Fuck.
Oh, God.
Anyway, sorry about your wife getting murdered, getting super killed at the end of this film. Yeah, rip. She's so great. And
she's great.
It makes you want to root for her to live. And even though her kids are shitty, you want them to get out of there.
She's also just like the nag. Like, it is a bad character. She's just like, oh, you're like, this house sucks. I don't want to be here. And
yeah, but is she the nag? Because she
is, dude.
He brings her where 4 people were hanged in the backyard.
Well, to be fair, she doesn't know about that for a long time, but
she's already a nag.
But she's also already like, your career is not really going anywhere, dude. And like the other thing too is like, not that I give too much of, like, I don't care that much, but there's parts where she's like, all right, I'll see you later. Like, I'm going to drop the kids off and stuff. And then it's like, where are you going? Like, what are you doing all day? And not that I'm like,
her character's not fleshed out.
No, that's what I mean. Is like, yeah, but she's like, all right, I'm off for the day. It's like, to do what? You just moved to this town too. Like, do you have a job? Like, and that's the thing is like, she's not fleshed out to a sufficient degree that and not that I'm saying that knowing what her job is like the way to make her a character, but I'm saying that like, she's just a nothing burger, and then she gets her head cut off. It's not fun, it's just not.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And then it makes you kind of be like, I don't care enough about her. Another character like that is James Ransom, who plays the deputy.
Oh, Deputy so and so.
He's so good in this movie.
Dude.
He was so good in The Wire as Ziggy in season 2, and like that's like where he popped off. And then in this, he's great, and he's not in enough movies. Like that guy,
so little,
because he is kind of a unique actor, and I don't know why people can't find roles for him to do.
I think he's really got like Justin Bartha energy, and it's Justin Bartha's maybe aged out now. Is this guy younger than him? Maybe.
Yeah, a little.
So he could like still find a space for himself.
Maybe. But he was in the second. He was like the main character of Sinister 2, I'm pretty sure. Or he becomes a bigger character in Sinister 2, which is not a very good movie.
Which is not a good movie.
Yeah, I saw it like a long time ago. I don't remember anything about it. But like the part where he's like, yeah, I heard something in the attic. He's like, then I saw a snake up there. He's like, snakes don't have legs, so I don't think you would have heard that.
Okay.
Like, I saw a scorpion up there. He's like, scorpions do have legs, but you probably wouldn't have heard that either. It's like,
what are these?
Such a weird.
What is like, these writing for this guy?
And when he's like, kind of the end when Ethan Hawke is losing it, and he's like, what does he say? He's like, I mean, would you stand here? He's like, God, absolutely not. God, no. Yeah.
First of all, when you find a scorpion and a snake in your attic, you just continue. You just go back to bed after.
They're like in the Midwest.
This fucking guy. Yeah. When has he ever met either of those creatures in his entire life?
Yeah, I know.
To be this chill, this casual around it.
Yeah, it's
goofy.
It kind of makes you think it's like maybe your writing career isn't going well because you're not putting 2 and 2 together.
You gotta do stuff like at least pretend that you called pest control and they refused to come into your murder house.
The thing that's so wild is like Ethan Hawke, Ellison Oswald. He had like a successful book, Kentucky Blood, like a decade ago.
Yeah.
And it's like he goes into this murder house and he's like, all right, gonna write my new book. I hope the entire case falls directly in my lap. And then he goes up to the attic and there's a box full of the tapes.
Oh, good.
And you're just like,
regular.
Yeah, dude. Like I mean, I know that they're bewitched and that they suck you into the Bughuul realm, but come on. You know what I mean?
understand that he's like a detective / writer, right? All his true crime stuff.
He's a true crime writer.
So he doesn't have like the incentive to like, turn these tapes over to the cops.
There is a part where that obviously, so there's a part where he calls the cops.
Yeah.
And then he hangs up and he doesn't because like, and I that's one of those things that like makes sense for the film, but it rings as like a studio note where someone was like, I'm about 20 pages in. Why wouldn't he call the police? And then they're like, all right, let's do it. It's like his ego. He's like, no, I want to solve it. The justice matters to me, Yeah.
Oh yeah. They put in that line about like justice.
Yeah.
Where he's watching an old tape of himself from 10 years ago, giving a TV interview.
Yeah. And he's like,
in the end,
the justice.
It's all about justice.
All about
and he
justice.
knows he's full of shit. He's like bullshitting through the whole thing.
Well, I think it's like he's watching that and he feels like he's full of shit. He believed it then. Yeah. But he's full of shit now because now it's like, now the paycheck is what I need.
Yeah. I haven't had a job in 10 years. I would like one.
Yeah. You know what's so funny? I don't know if we brought this up last episode because we're doing back-to-back Hawks.
That's right.
And I don't know if I talked about it, but Daybreakers, right? Movie I wasn't crazy about. You probably hear it in my voice. In that
but you come around to it.
I come around to it. Maybe I wasn't crazy about talking about it. I was struggling with, I've been going through this thing lately, speaking of Ethan Hawke and writer's block, where like, I just can't think of words. Like I'll just be like, and it'll just be totally blank.
Iron deficiency, baby.
Yeah, I'm dealing with that. But, but like it will be like, I'll be like writing something and I'll just be like, and then this word. It's a word and I know it's right there at the edge of my periphery, but I can't. And that's how I felt that whole episode.
I think that's on me because I made sure we didn't move into a house that had an attic.
Yeah.
So you can't, go find your solutions in a box of snuff films. So I'm holding you back.
I completely blame you for it. I think that it's your fault.
You have to find other ways to find your words.
Yeah. Well,
alas.
Someone drop off some Super 8 films. So what the fuck was I going to say? So Daybreakers, Ethan Hawke originally turned down Daybreakers because he didn't want to, in his words, do a genre film.
Yeah.
He was like, I don't do genre films. And then he does Daybreakers, and then basically right after his next big film is Sinister. A couple years later.
Oh.
And then for most of the 2010s, Ethan Hawke like just is making fucking cheddar from purely genre films, from being like the top billed cast of a $5 million Blumhouse picture.
Sick.
Like, because if you think of that era of Ethan Hawke, like, what are the big films he's in besides First Reformed? But First Reformed is not a big film. Big Performance, not a big film.
Yeah.
But like The Purge and Sinister, and you're just like, yeah, those are that is what I think of when I think of Ethan Hawke.
Yeah.
Weirdly. Yeah.
Was Black Phone way later?
Oh, that came out like last year.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Or the year before.
I have no concept of time. Okay.
Yeah, Black Phone, Scott Derrickson. What did you think of Black Phone, actually?
I didn't care for it. I thought it was pretty.
I thought it was
a cool concept, and then it just shit the bed for me, and I was like, all right.
I quite like Scott Derrickson as a filmmaker.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Black Phone I thought was just okay. But this is like the movie I think of when I think of Scott Derrickson.
Scary.
Like Black Phone I don't think really went as like ham as it could have.
Yeah.
Especially when the promise was that it's like Scott Derrickson and Ethan Hawke rejoining for a horror film.
Totally.
But I don't remember it being very scary. Then again, I do remember the concept and the story being more interesting and like fleshed out than this film. But
maybe you wanted to tap into like, the more early Gen Z, late millennial fear of a phone. Just like
of answering the phone.
Oh my God. Like,
because he just made a movie called The Gorge, which was apparently okay as well. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Scott Derrickson is much like our beloved Scott Cooper. It's like he makes a lot of really he makes a lot of perfectly acceptable films, but none have really like blown me away. Then again, I haven't seen Mr. Strange. What did he? Didn't he make one of the Professor Stranges or whatever with Benedict Cumberbatch?
No, that was
Raimi made the second one. Didn't Derrickson make the first?
Let's find out right now.
You're supposed to know.
Yeah,
you're
Doctor
supposed
Strange.
to be the fucking.
You are correct.
The Marvel lady.
Which, hey, look at that, 89%. Lots of strange in it.
I've never seen that movie, so I can't.
But
tell
yeah,
you.
But, was he also Exorcism of Emily Rose?
That was his first movie, I believe.
That was.
Yes. Yeah.
That was fucking good too.
I mean, it's about as good as Sinister as I recall.
No. I think it
No?
was just like a different genre in terms of like it was more like a courtroom drama.
Yeah, it
with
was like half
some
courtroom. Yeah.
Sparsed in like scary scenes.
I remember liking it. I just don't remember being like, oh, that movie was amazing. Like, yeah.
Oh, the real shit show was The Day the Earth Stood Still.
Oh yeah. That is not a very good movie. We could cover that. I walked through the set of that film one time.
Did you?
Yeah, it's coming off
shit.
a bus in the train station here, and they were filming this huge fucking. One of the scenes is in this train station, and I walked through it, and I was like, because like the train station here is if you ever go, it's not a crowded place because we don't have a train for one.
Oh right.
And it's kind of full of non-addicted challenged people.
Yeah.
Lots of
doing extracurricular
lots
activities.
of drug addicts and people who don't have homes.
Yeah.
But then I came off of this bus and I got out there and I was like, wow, why is there 1,000 people packed in this building that's not full ever?
Oh my
and
God.
then I was like, weird. And then a couple of years later, I watched this very not good movie and I was like, oh, that's where I walked through. Yeah.
Holy shit.
That was my first brush with fame. Yeah.
Oh my God. If I watch back that movie, will we see you?
Yeah. No. No, definitely not. Yeah. Yeah.
Just you like Bughuul.
There is
standing
like
in the
1,000
corner.
people in the it's
Gotcha.
not a very big room either, so yeah.
The Gorge. I've heard so little about this dude.
It was a fucking Apple movie. Like no one gives a shit. It's an Apple movie that came out in February. Like no one cares. Yeah.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah. We want to talk about the plot? Okay. The plot of this film. We're back. Many interruptions. Someone doesn't know how to DoorDash. Someone doesn't know how to DoorDash in this city.
I want to get my rolls.
And I'm going to find them. And I'm going to appear in the background of their Super 8 films.
Just and holding an empty plate and a fork. Serve me.
All right. So Ethan Hawke, he's a true crime writer. He had a hit 10 years ago, Kentucky Blood. He's trying to get back on the train. His career is waning. He moves them into a murder house. Forgot to say, sorry, the film literally starts off with 4 people being hanged from a tree by some like invisible seeming force. It's pretty great. So they move into the murder home. Hawke finds the film reels upstairs along with a scorpion? Question mark?
Right?
Yeah.
Normal.
Interrobang. And he's like, oh, this is where, this is the town it happened in. He tells his family, he's like, we're kind of close to where it happened, blah, blah, blah. And then the police come by and they're like, come on, dude. Like, this is not cool.
Also, no. So the wife goes to places, but no one ever told her, like.
Yet another example of why she's not a good character.
Hey,
is
girl.
like, she's not even invested in like the place they're moving together as a family.
Yeah.
She's just like, I don't want to know. Like the first thing Julia Rylance basically says, like after the cops come and the cop is like, hey, it's pretty lame that you moved into the murder house. Actually, I really like that opening sequence because like the cop comes and he says, you fucking true crime people are just, you fuck shit up and you don't let cops do their job. And then he ends it by saying, he's like, and I want to say this. I think this is in very bad taste. But as the viewer, you're like, what does he mean? Mm-hmm. And then Ethan Hawke goes by Julia Rylance and she's like, oh, like we didn't move into this, like a house where a murder took place. And then he's like, nah, we didn't move into a house. And then she's like, I don't want to know. I just like, whatever. I don't want to know. And he's like, okay, good. Cause I don't want to tell you. And then he walks through the house and he walks to the back and then you see the tree with the where the murder just
with the
took
branches
place. Which
like broken
it's a
off.
great little like first 3 minutes of the film.
Mm-hmm.
So he finds the tapes. He watches the tapes. They all have murders on them.
Classic.
He does not call the cops about them. Julia Rylance is worried about his career. She's like, maybe this is the last time you fucking do this because it's not working out for you. As he watches the tapes, he finally sees the one with the pool where he sees Bughuul in the pool.
That's right.
And he sees a creepy man who just looks like Johnny Depp from the fucking Willy Wonka
series.
yeah, Willy Wonka films, standing in the pool. And, that's scary. He also finds the symbol on the that is like in each one. You looked like you were going to say something.
No, you have a mirror right behind you. And when you waved your hand for a second, it caught the reflection. I freaked out. And I'm just on edge, man.
Dude. It's scary. It's like that mirror that is right behind me. Sometimes, like, remember I said you can see there. It points into one of our bedrooms, and you can see where people walk by sometimes. Oh my God. Which is very rare.
I should move this.
It is freaky. It's very.
I will.
Creepy.
You will relocate, Mr. Mirror. Fucking Bughuul mirror out here.
So he finds the symbol, and then he goes up to the attic again because he hears noises because something's always going bump in his fucking attic.
At like 2 a.m.
The lights are never on in his house, so you're
Dude.
constantly. It's funny because when we watched it, you were very often like, "Turn the fucking lights on."
Why
you
are
idiot.
you operating in the
Roger
dark,
Ebert brought that up in his review. He was like, It often leaves you wondering why the guy just won't turn his lights on." Yeah.
At least pretend to flip the switch and be like, "Oh, it's out."
Give it a try.
Easy.
Then he finds that shoebox lid that someone has drawn all of the murders and shows that Mr. Boogie is nearby in all of them. So he rewatches the films and he kind of frame fucks them to find Mr. Boogie is in, he's in the mirror. He's in a mirror in the, speaking of mirrors behind me, he's in the mirror in the which one?
He's like
the car one or something.
Out by, he's basically by the window. Looking in,
and then he's in the bushes in the hanging one, and I mean it's freaky shit.
He's there. He's looking in.
He essentially figures out that one of the families that got murdered lived in a previous murder house. He enlists the help of James Ransom, who has no name in this film. He's just the deputy, and he tells him to talk to Vincent D'Onofrio, who's like a professor. Vincent D'Onofrio probably got paid a bunch of money for the easiest work from home shit he's ever done, where he's just like on a Skype call.
He's so chill. Another like wonderful surprise because you don't really expect to see fucking Vinny D'Onofrio in this movie.
I fucking love Vincent D'Onofrio.
He's the best.
He's a great actor, man. Yeah.
Another guy you don't see enough.
No. Well, he was on Law and Order for so long. He's so good on it. But anyway. D'Onofrio is like, hey, this dude is bad news. Like, you shouldn't, fuck with him. Ethan Hawke has like the run-in with the creepy kids that he never really sees. The big climactic bit is when Julia Rylance figures out that they're in the murder house.
Yeah.
And the tension keeps building from there. And then Ethan Hawke finally
tries to destroy the tapes.
Because he gets drawn back up to the attic for the third time where he sees the kids and Bughuul watching a film.
Oh, God.
And then he falls down and then he takes all the tapes and he tries to burn them.
Yeah.
And decides they're going to move back to their old fucking mansion that they used to live in, apparently.
Oh, my God.
So they go back to this creepy mansion. D'Onofrio tells him Bughuul is like, if you look at him, you're kind of trapped, blah, blah, blah. And then the deputy calls him and he's like, all of these people who got murdered, all these families, used to live in a previous murder house, just like you.
And you've now returned to another murder house.
Where he finds another box of the same tapes that are the extended Snyder cuts the tapes. He releases the Bughuul cuts.
The director's edit.
The extended director's edits, which show that the kids basically who were kidnapped committed the murders at the behest of Bughuul. And then everyone gets chopped to death by his daughter. Who is...
Don't worry, Daddy. I'll make you famous again.
Yeah.
So she's good at marketing and business development.
Yeah.
And good kid.
Sinister. What a fucking movie.
Great name.
Yep.
Great name.
It's better than Mr.
Fucking
Boogie.
Villain. What a face. Holy shit.
I like the I like how you don't see too much. This was the mistake Insidious made, right?
Yeah.
Was that you end up seeing too much of what's going on.
Fucking you're in it all the time.
Yeah.
Even Conjuring did a great job. And then they bring out the nun, but they only bring her in the shadows at first. And then you get to see more and more of her face in the subsequent films.
I think The Conjuring... I like The Conjuring, and I think it's like it's probably one of the best horror films of that decade. It's very
entertaining.
Okay, but it was one of those movies where I'm just like, they fucking just fucked the ending. Like they just
dude.
The fact that it just turns into like an exorcism. I was just and the exorcism is like so boring. Like I really didn't appreciate that part of it because I mean, speaking of terrifying trailers, the Conjuring trailer is. I mean, it's terrifying and incredible. Like it's one of the great trailers of that era, and like the part with the clapping by her ear and stuff. It's just fucking crazy scary, and like, and the movie has a lot of that, but it just ends up being like a fucking Lisa from 6 Feet Under screaming and giving birth to a demon, and I just find that just boring.
Right. I don't even remember how Conjuring 1 ends.
Can I just talk about that? Like, if I remember correctly, like one of the things that works with Sinister is that Conjuring, they kind of want to keep Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga alive because they want to. I don't know if they really wanted this, but there was probably an idea that it's like, well, you could make more movies starring these people. It becomes a series, right?
Yeah.
And The Conjuring becomes like a successful universe. Like it's probably the only successful horror universe ever, basically.
Because Insidious is part of that universe. I
No,
think.
that's just part of the Patrick Wilson extended universe.
The PCU.
Yeah, which includes that one episode of Girls and Hard Candy.
Right.
But they want to keep them alive, so there's not a lot of jeopardy. And like in Sinister, it's like, nah, they're just deaded. They're just fucking dead.
Oh, man.
And that's kind of what works about it. Whereas like The Conjuring, I just remember not feeling like I was like ever really worried about what was going to happen. Yeah, it's a very good movie. It's worth rewatching. Like it's a fantastic film, but it's much like many horror films. The first 2/3 of it are just much better than the end. Like their horror films are so hard to have a good ending.
Totally.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen Mama, maybe not the Guillermo del Toro
No, you've
film.
talked to me about it before though.
It's got our girl Jessica Chastain.
Yeah.
And the premise is fucking excellent. I think it was built on
what if Jessica Chastain was a mama? Is that the premise?
Kinda, but not. So she's kind of like this goth chick, she's like free living.
Yeah, Jessica Chastain.
I don't know if it's like her nieces or she comes into somehow under as guardians for these two girls who are feral.
Yeah, right.
And then it like builds on their feral mother who follows them into
society. Yeah.
But fucking excellent. Also the ending, shit the bed. Like it turns into this goofy like dance, like fairy tale scenario at the end where you're like, oh, okay, so this was a sad story, but anyway, they show way too much at the very end, but then for the entirety of the film, the horror part is that you don't really get to see her. You just get to see her hair and like, webs and shit.
They're incredibly like the thing is like they're horror films that I actually do believe that I think there's an argument to be made that people could be like, oh, well, so many horror films just shit the bed because of like the writers or the directors or whatever. But I actually just think it's genuinely, they're the hardest to land the plane. They're the hardest films to land the plane with.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not always the fault of the creators because it's kind of like, well, you're asking them to like fucking pitch a perfect game, and it's really difficult. Yeah. But yeah. Anyway, Sinister is all right.
Do you have like a horror movie that you're like, this is perfect?
Blair Witch.
Yeah.
Like the ending of Blair Witch. The thing is like a lot of the best endings of horror films end up with like really bleak endings. Those are usually the best ones.
True.
It's hard with like The Conjuring where it's like everything kind of works out and blah, blah, like. And I know horror, it's kind of a trope at this point, but a lot of horror films also, they end with like oh, everything worked out until the last moment. Then you realize the demon has been in their head the entire time. Right. Like shit like that,
Suspiria.
Well, no, Suspiria is. I don't really count that as a horror film too much, but
Okay.
like the you mean the Guadagnino one?
Yeah.
Yeah, but like you know what I mean, and
Yeah.
and I think Insidious does that where it's like, oh, they escaped from the demon realm, but really the demon is now the kid or something.
Sure,
like,
sure.
Yeah, but a lot of the best horror films are like they just end with this fucked up bleed. It's Hereditary. Really good ending to Hereditary.
That is perfect.
Yeah.
That is a perfect horror movie.
But that ends with everyone having no head, except for Peter and Payman.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So everyone watch Hereditary. Don't watch Sinister. It's too scary.
Have a regular heart rate when you watch Hereditary.
Yeah.
It's not
Thank
gonna
you for listening, everyone.
I've been Sinister Pre.
I've been John.
Bughuul John.
Jagul.
Jagul.
Shirley Jackson's dog has a PhD. And yeah, thank you again.
Throw some respect on it.
Throw some respect on Bennington College's name. Bye.